IBB can never repay the debt he owes. Only God will demand recompense of him because obviously those who have come after him have been even more worse than him.
Alright, so following some revelations from the recently launched IBB's book, Nigerians are actually supposed to be calling for the arrest of IBB, following the evil and the demonic things he did during the time that he was in power. I swear.
I was not thinking after 1993, for instance, or after the military left, that I would be languishing in detention for expressing myself about an IGP of police.
General Yakubu Gowon, who became Nigeria's head of state, his government was overthrown in 1975 by a coup involving the then Brigadier Olusegun Obasanjo. Also involved in that coup were the then Lieutenant Colonels Muhammadu Buhari.
In the face of the crisis, I'm not only in office, I am in power. And you exercise the power against the interests of Nigeria.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Plan B TV News. There's a new gist in town. I know most of you must have heard about it, or most of you must have also watched the videos whereby Ibrahim Banbagida came out and said he wrote a book. Not he said, he wrote a book, launched the book, invites men of magnitude, and they all share their 2 cents about it. The former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo's speech, it grieves my heart, and I will let you guys watch the particular video. We'll be right back to deliberate about the book, on how Nigerians are reacting to the book.
Together. So seated amongst us here today is General Yakubu Gowon, who became Nigeria's head of state at the age of 32 and led the country for 9 years. His government was overthrown in 1975 by a coup involving the then Brigadier Olusegun Obasanjo and the then Brigadier Theophilus Danjuma, and the author himself, I confirm, the then Lieutenant Colonel Banbagida, who was then commander of the newly formed Armored Corps. Also involved in that coup were the then Lieutenant Colonels Muhammadu Buhari, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Bello, who is here also, and Lieutenant Colonel Sani Sami. Yet, here we are today with former President Obasanjo, General Danjuma, and of course the author himself present, not as adversaries of the author, but as witnesses to history, celebrating a fellow statesman. In a striking turn of fate, the author notes that it was President Obasanjo who, after the tragic assassination of General Murtala Mohammed, insisted that a young Lieutenant Colonel Banbagida be appointed to the Supreme Military Council, making him its youngest member at the time. Also represented here is the immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari, another leader intertwined with Banbagida. It was former President Banbagida who played a key role in the coup that brought President Buhari to power in 1983, and later in another coup that removed him and brought Banbagida himself into power. Yet today, President Buhari is represented at this occasion, celebrating the man who overthrew him and detained him for 3.5 years, his one-time old adversary, former President Banbagida. And then, of course, there's a gentleman here who was an elected senator in 1992 in the course of Banbangida's transition program. When Banbagida annulled the 1993 election and General Abacha took over and dissolved the Senate, that senator tried to reconstitute the Senate in resistance to the dissolution. He was detained, charged to court. He escaped into exile. Today, he is also here to celebrate with his former tormentors But as President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed.
Now that you have watched the video, the most interesting part in all of this is that our son, Femi Falana, came out and said that I will challenge and I will sue Ibrahim Banbagida. Why will he write this book after 30-something years to tell us that the 90s, Hekio Abiola won these elections and that. And I will make sure that he pay for it according to the Constitution. I just say, Anyway, I want you guys to watch his speech. We'll be right back.
Face of the crisis. I'm not only in office, I am in power. And he exercised the power against the interests of Nigeria. He also said at that time that they are not the election in the national interest. He never mentioned Abacha. No. And in any case, the annulment you are talking about was perhaps the last stage of the manipulation. Following the criminal annulment of the election, the campaign for democracy organized peaceful protest in many parts of the country. General Banbagida ordered that the late Chief Ganifa Wemi, the late Dr. Bekoran Somkuchi, and myself be arrested and brought to Abuja here, where we were charged before a chief magistrate in Wuse here for the allegations were unlawful assembly, conspiracy, unlawful assembly, and sedition. What was the sedition about? That we had published the results of the election, which he has not published in his book. But at that time, it was a criminal. He made it a criminal offense. Our bail was refused at the instance of the government. Again, the junta thought foolishly that once we were put away, there would be no protest in the country any longer. So we were sent to Kuje prison here. Again, sensing that we might get bail in the High Court, General Banbagida ordered that we be detained in addition to the court remand under the State Security Detention of Persons Decree number 2 of 1984. And so we were detained. Now you said we committed an offense by challenging the annulment of election. 32 years later, you are now saying, oh, I regret that we are not the election. So that means you knew. You deliberately arrested me, detained me, charged me, and paraded me as a criminal, only for you to say now, sorry. No, you didn't say sorry. We regret what we did. No apologies. For me, we're taking it beyond the book. A year earlier, because Nigerians must not forget the fact that when General Banbagida staged a palace coup on August 27, 1985, I'm talking of when he removed, and his colleague plotted the removal of another military head of state, General Muhammadu Buhari. He criticized the Buhari Idi Agbon Tanzani's junta for not fixing a terminal date. So he said, we are going to leave office in 1990. In October 1990. 1990 came. He postponed the terminal date to 1990.
I believe that there are elements of truths and facts in what he's saying, But Nigeria don't just believe in him anymore because this man always lose or lost court case even before the court hearing. If you go on that comment section, people will just say, you when they lose case before court hearing, you will not fit the file case. How many cases have you won? But what he's saying is right, but I don't really know why Nigerians are just tackling him. But still on still, I want you guys to watch.
IBB can never repay the debt he owes. Only God will demand recompense of him because obviously those who have come after him have been even more worse than him. He annulled the election. And 32 years later, this man presumes to rewrite history by his tissues of lies. Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola is no more today. He can't speak for himself. All the pernicious lies that have been told since his death to justify the annulment of the election, they were barely afterthoughts. Those who should be examples of reprobates are being horrified. We have a duty to remember, because in this land, we're becoming a land of amnesiacs. We remember nothing of consequence, but we also forget nothing that will divide. The Igbo this, Yoruba that, Fulani this, Hausa that, Ijaw that. There is always a reason to be divided. But have you seen them divided in their gathering of vultures? The road to the elections of 2023 came through 1993. It was history repeating itself 30 years later. And the only reason it stood is because other frauds had stood in the past. The ultimate expression of citizenship is the right to choose who leads you. That is the ultimate expression of citizenship. In the absence of the right to choose your leaders, you are not citizens, you are subjects. However long we travel along our current trajectory, in the absence of an urgent reverse from our current trajectory, Nigeria will be destroyed by the lies that it has deified.
I want you guys to watch how Vidim also reacted to this whole case of Ibrahim Banbagida about the book he wrote and the launching, and everybody is raising eyebrow. I want you guys to watch it.
Alright, so following some revelations from the recently launched IBB's book, Nigerians are actually supposed to be calling for the arrest of IBB, following the evil and the demonic things he did during the time that he was in power. I swear, that man's supposed to spend the rest of his life for prison. He's supposed to get severe consequences for those evil things he did. So you're coming out now, after how many years, to come tell Nigeria and say you annulled the June 12th election, where our fathers and our mothers stand for inside queue, then vote for the leader where they select, where they believe, say, this man supposed to make Nigeria better. But because of your own selfish interest, and because you had more power then, you manipulated the law, you manipulated the people, you used power and influence to scatter everything to your own advantage. Where we say the guy, they even call lock him for prison, which frustrated and even led to the buying of the man self. So after how many years now they can't tell us? And some people were busy clapping in the room. By now, they don't suppose arrest you, may spend the rest of your old life for prison. But yeah, this is Nigeria, anything goes. This is Nigeria. Because if not like place like America, now I talk this to me, okay, they go jail you. They go jail you. Spend the rest of your life in prison. Yes. Yes. You be evil person. That number two, self, I even look at the people they dey inside the room, self. I just they wish. Immediately I see that video, the trend says, I just wish, I say, wait, God, why? God, why, how? I just wish that thing where Samson do for Bible, if it just happen, may one person just do like this by mistake, may all the building just fall. Because 80% of the problem of Nigeria is inside that room that day. And guess what? This nonsense book, how much it generates for the book launch? Over 10 billion. And it generates for that book launch. A book launch of a book that contains atrocities, evil, abuse of power, abuse of influence, abuse of office. That's what that book contains. That book should not be celebrated by anybody. They're supposed to burn that book, said. They're supposed to even burn them. Because what is the consequence for that nonsense he did? Against our people, against our development. Because yes, that thing took us back. Who knows, maybe Abiola for turn Nigeria to Dubai. Who knows? But we will not find out because they buy him. They frustrate her till he buy. Now, talking about the Igbos, I wasn't surprised. Why? Because I've seen videos already before. I've sat down before. I've watched the whole court section with the guys, the Igbo men that was interrogated then, the ones that were in the army. So I watched everything. So I was not surprised about that. You understand? And of course, if you are a smart person, you know that the gatekeepers of Nigerians, they don't want an Igbo man to rule. You know, I mean, they have their own reason, and me, I know they like put mouth for that type. When it concerns strife for politics, I know they won't put my mouth or inside where we're like that. You understand? So I'm not gonna go about the Igbo and the Igbo thing, the outside view. But this part where IBB review for a book, that man supposed to spend eternity for prison. That's it. But yeah, this is Nigeria. Because guess what? As there's no consequence for this, for what he did, right? Another person will come out tomorrow, talk say 2020 something election too. Maybe na INEC will come out. Who knows? Who knows? But we are supposed to be calling for the arrest of IBB. We're supposed to be calling for the arrest. But it is what it is, Sha. Now Nigeria we did. You understand? He will be celebrated. Say he don't come confess. They will celebrate him. Anyways, peace and love. Who knows? Who knows? And you think about it, I say, oh, God, wow. Well, it is what it is, Sha. Peace and love, don't play.
But to be sincere, if not be money when this man define, something that have happened over the years, and you still went ahead, or you didn't just like this election that just happened now, this 2023 past election, Tinubu, everybody knows that Tinubu stole this election. Then nobody will talk. We are talking about Yakubu Momondu, the sole finder of ringing that election. After 30-something years later, he will now pick up a pen and wrote a book about 2023 election. And I tell you that, yes, Peter Obi won that election, but because of so, and mention some few names, that is how they gang up and give it to Tinubu. Then he expected everybody to just grab the book and clap and read and buy it, launch it, and he makes money. That is what is happening right now. These are the people that plot coup d'etat by a lot of people, and everything that happened over that year, now they are putting it in book, expect you to read it and just go home and relax. And MQ Abiola is no more today. How do you want his family to feel relaxed and read all this book? A lot of people that are back over this election stuff and the things that have happened under this former military government coup d'etat whatsoever. How do you expect the family of the souls that were lost to feel relaxed? Now you came out, you didn't come out like, okay, hey, Peter Obi won this election. You did come out to detest that issue, or even 4 years before the next election, you waited after you don't look, say, okay, money not there now. What will I leave for my children? I'm getting more older. You launch book. Everybody were putting on their millions upon millions and billions to buy that book. Anyway, only Buhari did not attend that book launch, though he sent a representative. We all know two things were involved. It's either he's still angry or Baba is sick. But I don't know what happened.
I was not thinking after 1993, for instance, or after the military left, that I would be languishing in detention for expressing myself about an IGP of police. Because even the IGP of police under the military couldn't detain us based on things we said that they didn't like. Interestingly, because there's a rule, I think it's rule 365 in the police order book, that says police officers cannot use their offices, they can abuse their offices to prosecute people on behalf of themselves. That's the rule.
So in a sense, military rule might have gone, but the practice of the kind of, if you like, the culture of official domination remains.
Let's call it impunity, has gotten worse. And you saw that in August of 2024, when underage kids were arrested, detained for months, and tried for treason until it became a national embarrassment. I was saying an international embarrassment. That was when they were released and immediately rehabilitated, according to them. Under the military, no kids, underage kids, were ever arrested and tried for treason. Even students, they were careful with us. They were careful with youth corpers. But I think those boundaries have become very blunt now. Nobody cares anymore. They just do what they like to break anybody who stands up. And there are more draconian laws now that gags free speech than there was probably under military rule, because that's what's pretty much the Cybercrime Act is all about. It's another Decree 2 or Decree 4, one of those decrees that used to violate free speech and freedom of association, freedom of the press.
Right.
Those things have evaporated under the so-called civilian regime that we're in.
He said,
Yes.
which is what really stood out for a lot of people, that he confirmed for the first time, really, that Moshood Abiola did win that presidential election.
No, he didn't need to say
therefore
that. We knew that.
He was a president of Nigeria.
We knew that already as of 1993, June 1993, after June 12, we knew that. I personally interviewed Professor
Humphrey
Wosu in New York, and it's on the internet, it's on YouTube. And he admitted, he said they knew, everybody knew that Abiola won the election.
Well, obviously he did know, but I mean, he didn't say it at the time. Now he's saying.
Because now it is lucrative. He wanted to use it to raise money for a presidential library,
Right.
which is a scam because he was never a Nigerian president. So how can somebody who was not elected?
Well, he
have
was a military head of state.
That's
and again, we're not defending him,
self-styled
but he was
military head of
a
state.
military head of state, and the whole point of a library is to try and keep historical records.
But people who are accidents of history have no right to keep records that have been.
Well, they have a right
distorted.
to keep records.
No.
You may not necessarily. I mean, it's your prerogative if you don't want to go to the library.
No.
But I mean, that doesn't stop.
I don't
him
even,
from,
I don't
from
even think he's
holding
building a
from keeping
library. I don't even think he's building a library. But I hope he is building something that we can convert to what former President Jonathan said we should do.
That's it. Anyway, I had this case here. Until we meet again, stay tuned, Plan B TV. Please do not forget to like this video, comment your thoughts about this video. Above all, subscribe if you have not subscribed to our channel. If you do, turn on your notification bell so that you wouldn't miss out our future uppost. Until we meet again, stay tuned. I will be waiting for you guys in the comment section while you watch the rest of the video. Please comment your thoughts and let's rub minds together. Let's argue. Let's argue. I put it to you that Ibrahim Banbagida is innocent. The book he wrote, he just felt like this is the right time he should write it, and I don't see anything wrong in it. I put it to you. According to our legal content creator, Femi Falana son. I love you guys. Peace out.
Mr. MKO Abiola won the election to be the president of this country in 1993. I was just 3 years old. They did not announce him. They announced someone else. In fact, they scattered the whole country. Fast forward to 30 years after. 2025, Mr. Ibrahim IBB is now coming outside with a book, heroic book, let's use that English, to tell us, to announce to the whole country that truly MK Abiola was the winner of the election of 1993. He was supposed to be the president, but instead they took him out. We are here celebrating people that are supposed to be in jail. Person wey supposed to jail, they write book. Every president, every big man, every political value, big people in this country, they sat down with him to contribute billions to him. They are contributing billions to people that take action that made a lot of people lost their life. Oh, now hero be that. So now someone can just find anybody and come outside. Someone can just scatter anybody and come outside after many years and say, I did this, and the next thing is to celebrate. Okay.